Gather round, hustlers, that's if you're still living. Pay attention and listen to the rhymes that I'm flipping. They'll try to play me nice, try been spitting. If you disagree, you grace, and now ain't homie, you tripping. Did so many records, I lost count. My approach to music is sorta gothic. Homie, I black out. Poetry on the beat, man, you can't out-snap me. Man, a boy is too gifted, man, you can't out-rap me. The devil wants me to stop, but I ain't phased, cause I know he's too weak, like 14 days. Right off the bat, real quick, let's set the record straight. Make no mistake, been great, been dope since the first tape. Did it for the people that was plain to see. I gave you the first tape, no charge or fee. So if you ever see the police harassing me, tell them I never sold dope, I gave it out for free. Thanks. I appreciate you doing that for me. You can't help but groove to this one, you know what I'm saying? It's that soulful music. That groovy music, you feel me? Your boy back, sorry for the wait. While I had his time, now let's set the record straight. It's the return of the boom bap, real rap, super soldier serum. I can do this all day, no cap. I'm Young Vito, voice of the young people. Flow so lethal, it's borderline illegal. MCs move the crowd, real ones do it seamless. I make them say A like the Dean's List. Genius, all facts. You heard my last tape on the Roy. My first name ain't Hugh, I ain't known to play, boy. No play, all of my ways lead to Yahweh. All day, know it's levels to it like parfait. New way, keeping God first is a mandate. Okay, I can never lose with this mind state. No way, I'm taking 2 L's like Cool J. Ote, you ain't trying to buck, it's the wrong. Jazz. Alright, so boom. So the big coming Carlos said he had a lit pregame and I could pull up on him. Tryna roll. For real? Bet. Pull up to the pregame. Yeah. Pull up to the pregame. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. Hey. Pull up to the pregame. Yeah. Pull up to the pregame. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. Hey. Catch a vibe, come and meet the team. Come and kick it with your fave 3. Chop it with us, come and join the stream. Trust me, y'all, it's must see. It's a culture party if you partaking. Hottest podcast, it ain't no debating. It's ringing off cause it's so engaging. Let's keep it raw. You won't find this on no other page. This kind of talk, this kind of cloth right here is tailor-made. What up, Lo? Tryna have fun, we the plug then. It's for the people so the culture win. Need an outlet, then tap in. Come tap in. We keep it fresh with the content. We even got Bash Stop and Carolina Blitz. And Shop from P&P, they're a perfect fit. Cause what's the point of a pregame if it ain't lit? It's lit, it's lit, it's lit.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the pregame. We lit, we live, and while y'all edit, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. What's up, family? How's everybody doing? Happy Thursday. We're back in the building. Right now, it's just me. I'll give you some updates on where my lovely co-hosts are, but I'm happy to be in the building this Thursday. I missed y'all. I was excited. We got a lot to talk about. It's going to be fun. So if people are piling in, make sure y'all share this. Let people know that we are in the building. We are live on Twitter. We're live on Instagram, and we are live on YouTube. If you want your comments to pop up like this, what up, Olivia? Make sure y'all join the family over at YouTube. So Shab won't be with us today. He is actually going to defend his title to be back-to-back champions with his daughter. You know, he does the daddy-daughter dance. So he's going to go do that. I think they won one, and I think they have one more tomorrow. So shout out to them for winning the first competition. I think they are practicing tonight, and they're going to perform again tomorrow. So, man, look, Dad of the Year, man, he's out here killing it, man, on stage, defending that title. So shout out to Shad. Vashti, she may make it. She may not. Hopefully she can, but we hope safe travels wherever she is. So she can pull up on us and we'll have a little bit of fun, because I definitely want to hear some of her thoughts, especially on what we talked about yesterday, because she was not yesterday, last week, because she was heavy. She was heavy in the comments in the airport when we were talking about the situation with Megan Good and your boy. So hopefully everything goes well there. But I want to know, as always, what are y'all pulling up with? Shout out to Ashley. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday, pregame family. Happy Thursday. You know, Thursday at 7:30, we are always lit and we're excited. So thank you for pulling up on us. But what y'all pulling up with today? What y'all pulling up with? How was your week? I'm gonna wait for a little bit because I know this is delayed a little bit, but I want to know, what are y'all pulling up with today? For those who are new, you know what this means. We always ask every week what you're pulling up with, and doesn't mean it has to be anything tangible. But I want to know how your week was. Are you pulling up with some energy? You pulling up on E? Are you pulling up with some gratitude? What are you pulling up with? So I see Sierra said pulling up with a full belly. That's good. I mean, she just ate. I just ate as well. Had some nice spaghetti. So I'm pulling up with that. Ashley said she pulling up with some lemon water. I ain't mad at that either. Pulling up in your PJs. That means you about to be asleep right after this. I appreciate you tuning in before you went to sleep. Pulling up with gratefulness. That's what's up. That's what's up. I think I'm pulling up with gratefulness too. I'm gonna have to steal one from you. It's been a great week. Getting ready to start a new role at my job, and so things have been great. But I've been having a good time, man. So it's been fun. So I'm pulling up with that. And yes, shout out to the heavy on gratitude for sure. Chad, pulling up to see you play. Bro, let me tell you, man. Let me tell y'all, man. College football has had me in a chokehold all week. I haven't gone to bed earlier than midnight, excuse me, all week, because that college football game is lit. Shout out to people who do play. I feel like I'm a college coach out here recruiting players and playing the game. It's been fun, man. It's been a nice change of events for me, man. So yeah, I definitely get on the game after this. You already know. But yeah, it's been lit. So we got a lot to talk about today. I'm gonna start something new each week. I'm gonna give y'all like a little taste of what we're talking about in terms of today's topics, because there's been a lot going on. And I'm not going. I saw somebody put in some of the politics. I'm not touching the politics thing, man. I'm not even gonna touch that. Not this week at least. I'm not touching that. We ain't trying to get shadow banned or anything, so we're not touching that. But what we're going to talk about today is we got a few different things. We may leave the final thoughts about the Megan Good situation if Vashti can pull up. But a lot has been going on in the sports world, so we're going to hit a lot of the sports stuff. But I am going to tell y'all a segment that we're going to start next week. And that segment we're going to start is Start, Bench, Cut. And what that is, I've done something like this before on the podcast, but basically what we're going to try to do is I'm going to take an artist, a musical artist, whether it's Chris Brown, Beyonce, whoever it is, and I'm either gonna do a starting lineup with those songs, or we're gonna do a start bench cut where I'm gonna have three of their top like bangers, right? And you got to start a song, bench a song, and cut a song, right? And so it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be very interactive. So I'm curious to see what you all are gonna say. I don't know who the artist is gonna be next week. But we're definitely going to do that start bench cut on some certain songs, and sometimes it could be albums, right? So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a new little segment that we'll do from time to time. So we'll start that next week. So get tuned. But this week we're gonna talk about Jordan Addison, who got arrested on a DUI. And we'll talk about that situation and whether teams do fear during this time, players having this quote unquote break. We'll get into the Netflix show Receiver. If you haven't seen that, we'll talk a little bit about that. Also, the title of this particular podcast is called Shots Fired. That means a lot of shots have been fired, no pun intended, about the politics thing. So I had to do a play on words, but a lot of shots have been fired this week. And one of them was from a reporter, Paul Finbaum, against Deion Sanders. We talked about Deion Sanders on this podcast pretty often, but we'll talk about those shots that were fired and what took place there. And then we'll get into Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp, and Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless is leaving FS1, and we're going to talk about it. I know somebody posted something in our mailbag around whether the national sports media is going away, right? Because a lot of people like Cam Newton and all these different people are creating their own platforms to talk about sports, and it seems like they're getting a lot more love than the people that we grew up on, right? And so is it a new wave coming in? We'll talk about that a little bit. Also, in terms of sports shots fired, we also going to talk about the situation with Jaylen Brown and Bronny, with him not covering his mouth when he's in the front row talking to his girlfriend, saying he doesn't believe Bronny's a pro, right? And there's a lot of back and forth that happened all week. So we'll get into that. And then we'll talk about a little Panther stuff, man. You know, training camp's going to start soon. The rookies report next week. I mean, tomorrow, excuse me. So we'll talk about that. So we won't get into it. I just want to give y'all a little taste of what's taking place. I'm gonna start doing that now to give you like a nice little agenda so that you can get your thoughts prepared whenever it's time to talk about these topics. I want the engagement. I love that's why I like to go live instead of record because I enjoy the engagement that takes place throughout. So let's get into it. All right, cool. So the first thing, Addison arrested. That's a nice alliteration, right? Not for him, but for us. So Jordan Addison was a rookie last year for the Minnesota Vikings, wide receiver. Had a really good season. One because our boy Justin Jefferson got hurt, but he had a pretty good season for as a rookie. And so he's going into his second year. And during this time, you know, of course, they have like mini camp and they have all these different things. They have like a 6-week break in between the last time that they were actually at the facility working out, getting prepped up for the season, and they get a little break before they have to report to training camp. And so there's been rumors, there's been articles that I've read, there's been, you know, reporters and everything that say that a lot of teams and league owners or franchise owners fear this quote unquote break because a lot of things can happen, right? When you think a lot of things, it could be injuries, right? It could be a lot of things. It could be, you know, people are not working out. They are not as in shape as they were before. So they're not taking these 6 weeks to continue to keep their body in shape and warm and ready. Sometimes they can gain weight, lose weight, whatever it may be. But the biggest thing that they do fear is the fact that a lot of players get in trouble, right? So we've seen this a lot with different people where, you know, God forbid, some people catch domestic violence cases or anything of that nature. Well, Addison, who is a young man, like I said, going into his second year as an NFL pro, gets arrested. And I think he was Las Vegas. I have to go see, but it might have been Minnesota. But he gets arrested for a DUI. And so the Minnesota Vikings are aware of this. They're investigating and everything. So I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen to him, but we've seen this a lot with a lot of players, right? We've seen players who Henry Ruggs, who basically lost his entire career because of a DUI and then killing someone because he was drunk driving. Now he's in prison, right? We've seen this with a lot of different. Rasheed Rice was in trouble earlier this year because of something like this, and so things like this happens when breaks occur. My question to you all in the chat, and I'm going to answer it myself, is do you believe that they should fix this where there is no break? And do you really believe that teams do fear this, right? I think at the end of the day, my response is that these these professional athletes are adults, right? They're adults. They are responsible for their actions. And you know, whether there is a break or not, they're going to do what they want to do. We've heard this from players who go play a game and then go party the very next day or go party the night before a game. So they're going to do what they're going to do. You can't control them. You cannot put them in a box to do certain things. They're going to do what they want to do. And it's just unfortunate that this happened to this young man where he had a very, very bright career. Now, is his career over? Absolutely not. I'm not saying that. But he may get suspended for a few games, and who knows what that means in terms of their playoff hopes. And so it's just very difficult when things like this happen. And I'm not sure, like, we'll figure out what's going to happen. I know that they are investigating it, seeing what happened. He got arrested at the suspicion of having one, so nothing really fully has come out yet and said that. But they got to be responsible for themselves, and we have to see what's going to take place. But I hope that for the rookies who are watching, they take these lessons and these situations as examples to know what to do and what not to do. But yeah, see, you brought up a good point. Like, I'm not paying you millions to babysit you, right? But at the end of the day, like, don't forget the actions that you do partake in can hurt or could help or hinder the millions of dollars that you are supposed to get paid. So, yeah, best of luck to Jordan Addison, but that was a tough one. That was a tough one to witness. The next one is we want to talk about is Netflix, right? The Netflix receiver show. Show of hands by, you know, if you had a chance to watch this one, because I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this one. I'm still trying to figure out if I enjoyed it as much as the quarterback show. I enjoyed the quarterback show. I got a newfound respect for Kirk Cousins and watching that, and I still do believe that quarterback is still one of the hardest positions to play, because you have to learn so much. You have to control, lead the team, all those different things, right? You got to know what everybody on the field is doing. But it was cool. Like I love the wide receiver position. If I would have continued football, I would have stuck with the wide receiver position as well. Like that's what I was doing um, before. So I enjoy it. Newfound respect for a lot of these guys up here, especially Amon-Ra St. Brown. I know some people said that they are involuntarily watching it, but then also they still got a few episodes left. So I'm not going to spoil what happened, even though like we all know what happened during the season and who won and who lost. But Amon-Ra St. Brown he's a dog, bro. Like he's a dog. And the crazy part about it, if you did see episode 1, when he started to name out all the different players who got drafted before him, and as a Panthers fan, you hear Terrace Marshall, LSU, knowing that you had an opportunity, you had an opportunity to draft this dog, and we didn't. And granted, like, am I saying that Terrence Marshall his career is over? I'm not saying any of that. I mean, we haven't seen it yet, but I'm not saying he has a chance. He has so much potential. But seeing what Amon-Ra has become versus what we have, I think it all comes out. And we've said this before on the pod with Shad and Vashti. It all really depends on the scheme you go to, the coaches you have, and all of that, right? And in the culture and the environment that you get into, right? And so Amon-Ra was placed and was drafted in a very, very, very good situation, and that's showing with this play. Devontae Adams is such a dog, man. Like the way he went through a lot in Las Vegas. And Debo's not on here because I don't think he went to the opening. I'm not sure what we had going on, but Debo and George Kittle have a really good relationship, and I mean, newfound respect for all of them. So it was pretty dope. Oh yeah, and that's a good point, Carl. Like TMJ had a better college career, so I understand why he did, right? Because he had a very good quarterback, right? He was on arguably one of the best college football teams that we have seen in a very, very, very long time, if not the best, right? Like you're on a team with Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson, of course you got TMJ, you got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and you got your boy from the Bengals, right? So Jameer Chase. So like that is probably one of the craziest offenses, and we're not even gonna get into the defense too, but that's one of the craziest offenses that we've seen, right? And so yeah, like TMJ, you get that, right? Um, so I think that it was a very good show. You got to see the humanistic side of these players. I thought that was really dope. And so I'm excited to see what's going to happen next. Is it going to be tight ends next? My gut says it could be potentially running back. But I will also see that I will also like to see linebacker go defense. I would like to see the linebacker because linebackers, they say, is the quarterback of the defense. They have to know what everyone's doing on the field. They have to understand the plays. They have to know what the quarterback is doing, what holes are opening up, pause, all those different things, right? So I'm curious to see linebacker or running back. So that's where I am right now in terms of what I would like to see. So Peyton, if you listen to Peyton Manning, just come holler at me, just cut me a little check, man. We'll get it. We'll get it started, man. But I think that's where they should go next. All right, so let's get into some shots fired. We're not talking about politics here. We're talking about shots fired in the media. So Paul Finbaum, if you don't know who he is, don't worry about it because he's such a hater, but that's a whole nother conversation. But he is a reporter. He's been around for many, many years, and he is known to make these viral situations or say viral things, right? He is just direct, straightforward. Him and Lane Kiffin got into it today about something. So that's the type of character he is. If you don't know who Dion is, you've been living under a rock. But Dion, aka Prime Time, not only the GOAT when it comes to NFL and being a corner, but he also is the coach of the Colorado Buffaloes. So of course, everyone has known what Dion has been able to do last year at Colorado. Like he literally changed the culture of that team in so many different ways. Not only in terms of a football organization, but also just Colorado in terms of an institution. They were able to make more money in terms of NIL. They're able to get more people applying to join and to join that particular university. And then also like the attendance. The attendance to the football games, they were sold out. The season was sold out before they even played a game. So the prime effect is really, really real. We saw it at Jackson State. We're now seeing it at Colorado. It's just been an amazing thing to witness and watch. So Paul Finbaum was commenting about some comments that Shedeur Sanders, who is Deion Sanders' son, but is also the quarterback of the Colorado Buffaloes, and he was basically saying, look, we're everybody's Super Bowl. This is what Shedeur said. We're everybody's Super Bowl. Everybody has our game circled and ready to give it their all, right? And so Paul Finbaum took it and said, hey, I just want to let you know that no one fears Colorado, and you won't make it far, and you won't make it to any type of championship or any type of college playoff run because Prime has no patience. This is what he said. And so here's my biggest thing. This is my response to Paul. When Shedeur, this is how I feel. When Shedeur said that we're everyone's Super Bowl, he's not saying that we are the top dogs like an Alabama or LSU or anything like that. He's not saying that we're the top dog. And so we're everybody's Super Bowl, but he understands the notoriety that that team has. And he understands that everybody's going to want to beat them. That's what he's saying in terms of everybody's Super Bowl. Plus, when you think about the Super Bowl, it is one of the biggest televised events that happens, right? Everybody is watching the Super Bowl because there's no other games on. Everyone around the world, around the nation is watching the Super Bowl. And that's kind of what happened with Colorado last year, right? Even the Oregon, I can't remember his name, but the Oregon's coach even said, like, they're over here for clicks and likes. We're over here to win football games, right? He knows that so many people are watching to see what took place. If you look at the numbers of people who were watching Colorado games last year, it was crazy. That's why almost every Colorado game was on television, was on ESPN, was on some type of national syndicated show or channel, right? Before that, could you name a Colorado game that was on the was on a nationally syndicated channel? Nah, you couldn't. You couldn't because that's the prime effect. And so the fact that he said that Deion has no patience was pretty wild to me. I think that he thinks that Deion's going to leave when Shedeur leaves. He thinks that he's going to where Shedeur goes, he's going to go. He's going to go to the. But it's no, like Deion's been coaching for a pretty long time, not necessarily in the college realm, but he's been coaching for a while, and he's going to stay there. And I think he's going to work. Now, granted, the only reason that he is going to leave, if he does leave, is because of a huge bag. And I think if he goes anywhere, it's still going to be within that college realm. So my hope is that Deion is definitely watching. He's definitely keeping receipts, and I hope they ball out, man. I hope they do really, really well this year. But Paul Finbaum is definitely hating. And I hope that this man kills it because that was crazy. That was wild. All right, so let's get into I'll call it this one Skip to my Lou. So Skip Bayless is finally, I don't know if it was a mutual thing. I don't know if it was something that he just decided to do himself, or I don't know if it was FS1 saying, hey, yo, it's time for you to go. But he is leaving FS1 after this particular contract is up, which is very interesting. And the reason I have Stephen A. Smith here and the reason I have Shannon Sharp, because my boy Cam Newton said something very interesting on his show at 4th and 1 this week. And he says, yo, Skip, at the end of the day, there's a difference between game changers and game managers. And we talked about this before, but he was like, you are a game manager. At the end of the day, you had Stephen A. Smith on First Take. That didn't work out because you didn't want to play second fiddle. And then you had Shannon Sharp on Undisputed, and you thought you were running the show, but who was the man that was leading that? Why were people watching? Because of Shannon Sharp, right? So you had both of these really powerful beings, whether you like them or not. Whether you like Stephen A and Shannon Sharp, because they can definitely be wishy-washy sometimes. Whether you like them or not, they are good at what they do, and they go viral for a reason. They know what they're doing. They're good at what they do. You had two solid brothers on your show, or y'all were on a show together, whoever show it was, and it didn't work out for both of those. Now you try to do your own thing. You try to do your own thing. You had, I mean, who do you have on there? He had so many different people. He had Lil Wayne on there for a moment. He had Paul Pierce on there for a moment. He had Richard Sherman on there for a moment. Like, he had all these different co-hosts, and it didn't work out. And so now, like, I'm asking what you gonna do? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, what are you gonna do now? Are you gonna try to do the podcast realm so you can say whatever you want and do whatever you want? But at the end of the day, it just shows that this man did not know. I think he's starting to realize that he really wasn't the alpha dog like he thought he was, because Stephen A left, or he left. He left First Take because it's Stephen A's show. He left First Take, and Stephen A kept on going. He was killing it, kept on rising. Shannon Sharp leaves your show, Undisputed, Skip, and Shannon kept on rising. So at the end of the day, because you've had success before, Skip. So at the end of the day, like, who's bringing in the bucks? Because apparently it's not you, bro. It's not you, because these two gentlemen have been rising to the top, even if you tried to drop them off and mess their career up. So it's very interesting. I'm curious to see what's going to happen moving forward. I'm going to definitely take a look at it and just see. But it brings me back to the question that someone asked of, you know, is the national sports media, is that dying, right? Like, we've seen a lot of layoffs, and I hate to talk about it, or I hate to say it, but so there's been a lot of layoffs on ESPN, and it's sad, right? People are losing their jobs, all those different things. And I don't condone. I hate when people lose their jobs. Like, it sucks unless you deserved it, right? But at the end of the day, like, people, they're layoffs because they're trying to save money. But at the end of the day, there's so many different shows and athletes who are stepping into this realm, right? We even talked, like, I Am Athlete was one of the first ones, but one of the most popular ones at one point, right? With Brandon Marshall and all of them, and The Pivot, which is a podcast I've talked about before on this show, which I love and I watch consistently. And then now you got Cam, right? Fourth and One. I mean, it's so many. The Raw Room, you got, I mean, it's so many different shows that people are doing. All the Smoke, so many different players that have created their own lane. And I think that, some reporters or some people who have been in this industry for a while, who are not necessarily athletes, I think they are a little nervous because of the fact that now we have legit people who have played this sport talking about it at a high level, right? Which is why you see so many great reporters being former athletes. We saw it with Greg Olson, right? Greg Olson is doing in-game reporting, and he killed it last year, right? You got Tom Brady coming in and making a lot of money to be on the A team, right? He even moved Greg Olson to the B team because of who Tom Brady is, and I hope all of them do well. I do. But I think some of the people, like the Stephen A's, like the Skips, who have not played the game at a high level, you're getting these people in who are really good at what they do, right? And here's the thing: these are competitors, right? They competed at the highest level, and so you don't think that they're going to come into this media realm and not want to compete and not want to do it at a high level. They're used to doing things at a high level. And so it's interesting to see how that's going to change. And then also, I think the biggest thing is you have to understand that there is a big firepower, a big, industry behind Stephen A in terms of like the politics and the big man, right? When you got people like Cam, you got people like All the Smoke and all those different things, they don't have to report to anybody. They are their own boss, so they can say and do whatever they like. And so I think that's very, very interesting. I think that this is probably the new wave. I can't tell you the last time I watched First Take, to be honest with you. I can't tell you the last time I watched Undisputed. Only time I see something, if I'm on social media and something goes viral or somebody says something crazy, right? But in terms of the podcast or YouTube and all those different things, like, that's the new wave. That's where a lot of people are getting their information, because those things are either going on social media, or people recognize these athletes because of them being athletes. And so we want to hear what you have to say because you have the inside knowledge to other players to bring them on to say what you see on this play because you've done this play before, and we can hear your experiences. And so it's better than just hearing someone say, "Oh, this person's trash. They don't deserve to be in the league," when you've never been in the league. So that's why I'm very careful of what I say and how I say it when it comes to players, because at the end of the day, yes, I'm a fan, but I never played the game at that high level. I never played the game, right? I like to play. I played the game, but I never played at the high level, right? So I think that's the piece where I'm just like, at the end of the day, what I say is not law. What I say is not Bible. It's just from a perspective of a fan. And I always give that disclaimer because at the end of the day, what these athletes are saying, they're going to have a lot more knowledge than we do because they played the game at a high level. They've seen it in so many different aspects of their career. And they can bring in athletes and they have connections with other people who played the game or coached the game at the high level. So Skip, good luck to you, bro. I don't know what you about to do, but you ain't gonna be on FS1. So you might as well just come on to the pregame podcast and we can argue about it. How about that? But let's move on. Let's move forward. So this is a very, very, very interesting situation. I'm in the communications realm, and I wish that somebody would have pulled Jaylen Brown to the side and say, "Yo, bro, you just won an NBA championship. You just won finals MVP. That means that they thought you were the best player on the floor during the finals. Anywhere you go, Jaylen, at this point, all eyes are going to be on you, right? And so we've seen this with a lot of players when they finish a game, they dap each other up, whatever, and they cover their mouth so that, people are professional lip readers. They're professional lip readers, right? And so they cover their mouth, especially if they're saying something to a player that could be somewhat personal, or they just don't want to get out. So this man, Jaylen Brown, let me take a sip because let me take a sip. All right, so this man, Jaylen Brown, he came in with his famous girlfriend, or whoever he's dating. I think her name is like Kierce Goldrick or something. She played for the Chicago Sky. She just got waived. I hope she gets picked up. Shout out to WNBA. And Angel Reese, who everyone knows. Angel Reese plays for Chicago Sky. I think that she should be Rookie of the Year. It's a whole nother conversation. Maybe we'll get into it at a later date. Anyway, they're on the front row watching summer basketball, right? So if you haven't been watching NBA summer games, it's pretty solid. But the Lakers are playing the Celtics, which is why he was there. And so I guess he was watching, Bronny play. Everybody knows who Bronny is. I don't have to go into that. But he basically said, and he looked over to her, and I wish I had the video. We should have reviewed the film like we did last week with Megan Good and oh boy. But he basically said, I don't think Bronny is a pro. And Kira said, well, I think he'll be going to the G League for sure. And he was like, yeah, but he's going to stay on the Lakers team because of his last name. I'll repeat that. This is exactly like people are professional readers. And when somebody wrote it out and I saw it on social media and it was written out what everybody was saying, I went back and looked at it. Like that's exactly what they said. So Jaylen Brown says, I don't think Bronny's a pro. And he gets his little face like I don't think Bronny's a pro. And then his girlfriend was like, well, I think he'll go to the G League for sure. And he was like, yeah, but he's going to stay on the Lakers team because of his last name. And so my question to you all is, was he wrong? Right? Was he wrong? So here's the thing. Me personally, and somebody said this. Who was this? Who said this? Gilbert Arenas. Gilbert Arenas said this on his podcast. Like I told you, man, these pros, man. Anyway, Gilbert Arenas said this on his podcast, and this is how I'm going to start my argument. So he said, all right, Bronny went 8 for 26 during his little summer camp thing, in the summer classic, then in Los Angeles. He went for like 8 for 26. He was like, Jaylen, he was a second rounder. He said, you were the third pick in the NBA draft. Third pick in the NBA draft. And you went 5 for 26 in the summer league. All that to say, things are going to take time. Things are going to take time. And at the end of the day, this is summer league. And how can you say that Bronny is not a pro just from looking at some summer games, right? And so that's what I'm going to start off with. I'm not gonna say he didn't lie. Has Bronny looked good? No, not from an offensive perspective, but he's been solid on defense. He's been solid. And JJ Redick, coach JJ Redick said, he could see him like a Lou Dort. If you know anything about Lou Dort is a very he's a defensive monster. So he's really good. He has natural defensive skills. So I don't think that, it's hard to say you're not a pro until I see you play some actual games. Like, these are summer games. I want to see him play. Now, granted, am I saying he's going to be a beast and all? I'm not saying any of that. I'm not saying that he's going to be what his dad is, but I think it's still a little too early to say whether he is a pro or not. Now, the part where he said that he is going to be a Laker because of his last name, I mean, yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I think that a lot of conversations are happening like this. Jaylen Brown is just the one that got caught. Straight up. A lot of conversations are happening where people are saying that, Bronny is on the team just because of his last name or just because of his father. All those things happen. Jaylen is just the scapegoat right now because he got caught. He got caught. He should have covered his mouth, especially if you're on the front row. You know what I'm saying? But we already know that Bronny's going to the G League. That's already been said. That's already been announced by the head coach. He's going to go to the G League. He needs more time. He didn't play a lot of games last year because of his heart condition. But I think the potential is there. You just got to shape it. You just got to shape the potential. You got to see what's out there. So we'll see what happens. But that was just tough to witness. And I feel bad for both parties, right? So I feel bad for Bronny because I know he's just trying to make it, you know what I'm saying? Trying to do his thing. I can imagine, like, if your father is the greatest basketball player of all time and everybody looking at you and you're the next, you're the oldest and they looking at you like, all right, you see what your dad did, what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy shoes to fill. But he's got to take it serious, right? You got to, like, want to try to make a name for yourself, not ride his coattails and do it. And that's how I would do it. Not everybody's totally different, you know what I'm saying? But I think it's still kind of early to say whether he is a pro or whether he isn't. So we'll see what happens there. But the thing is, this is interesting. I want to get into this next thing, man. So, the WNBA, shout out to the WNBA, right? I didn't. Oh, well, wait. Okay, hold on. Before I get into WNBA, I didn't say he was the greatest. I said one of the greatest. If I didn't say one of the greatest, I meant to say one of the greatest. You already know my list. We've already talked about this on a podcast before. Everybody knows what my list is when it comes to different players. So I ain't even got to get into it. You know what I'm saying? I got my 1, 2, and 3. You know what I'm saying? That hasn't changed and that won't change, right? You got Jordan, you got Kobe, you got Bron. That's just my take on it. Anyway, shout out to the WNBA. They've been killing this year. They've been getting a lot of notoriety. They've been getting a lot of popularity, and it's about freaking time. Like, they have so many different ballers on there. I'm still working to bring on somebody from the WNBA, and I got my starting lineup ready for who I did say the greatest. Okay, my bad. I didn't mean to say the greatest of all time. I meant to say one of the greatest. I'm talking a lot. So my bad. I did not mean to say that he is the greatest of all time. I meant to say that LeBron is one of the greatest. Hater or not, like, if you just hate LeBron because of LeBron, you cannot deny his greatness and what he has done for the game. So yes, he is one of the greatest of all time. That's proven with records, all those different things. He is not the greatest of all time. So thank you. I got to clear that up. Pimps make mistakes, man. Pimps make mistakes. All right. So the WNBA, man, they've been killing it. It's been so many good games. I mean, the players have been balling out. It's been fun to watch games. If you have not watched a WNBA game, they've been really fun to watch. They have been very entertaining, and there are some ballers out there. So much so that a lot of NBA players have been shooting their shots lately. And when I mean shooting your shots, I'm not talking about like playing basketball with them. I'm talking about like trying to date them. So Bam Adebayo and Asia Wilson, who is a certified bucket, they went on a little date. And it was called, they were in Vegas, you know what I'm saying? The training camp. Bam was at Team USA training camp. And she plays for Vegas. They went on a little date and they got caught. When you start getting the notoriety and the popularity, like TMZ and they gonna find you. They gonna find you, right? And so that's the middle picture there. And then, of course, I talked about this earlier, but Jalen and Miss Goldrick, I can't say her last. I think it's like Kierce or Kais. I can't remember how she says her first name, but they're dating now. They went to the ESPYs together and all that stuff. But it's interesting, man. I just want to call it out. Like, it's interesting that these NBA players are dating. But if Bam and Asia ever get married and have a kid, that kid's gonna be certified first round draft pick, first pick in an NBA draft or a WNBA draft, because those two players are solid. But it's very interesting to watch. So shout out to the shout out to the NBA players out here shooting their shots, because that was very interesting when I heard about that. I was like, if that's true, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man. Like I can't be mad at you, man. Do your thing. All right, so a few more things, and we're gonna close here. The next thing is the 2024 UFL college draft happened yesterday. If you didn't know about it, I barely knew about it. I just saw it via social media because it was not really publicized. But I saw something that was very interesting that I wanted to have a conversation about, because, like, I think it was, I did not know that this happened, right? Love and basketball. Hey, fact, it really is love and basketball, right? Shoot. Game to 11 for your heart. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what they doing. But hey, look, Bam better be careful, because Asia might beat Asia might beat him. Asia a bucket now. But yeah, so the 2024 college draft happened, UFL college draft happened on Wednesday, and something really interesting happened during this. I did not know. I did not know that the UFL can actually draft undrafted free agents from the NFL. They can draft the rights to that person. And so what that means is, I put two people up here. I got Popo in the corner, in the bottom right. So Popo Amuve, who is a defensive end. I think he's from Oregon. We signed him to an undrafted free agent contract. And then the fan favorite, Jalen Coker, right? Jalen Coker got drafted to the UFL, fourth round draft pick. And I wonder, I was like, dang, he's really good. Why did he get drafted to the fourth round? But it's because, like, he might make an NFL team, right? But they can draft the rights to them. And so I was thinking about this if I was an undrafted free agent, right? Would I feel good at the fact that I have a backup plan? And I had the fact that, like, hey, if I don't make this team, right? If I'm Jalen Coker and I'm like, if I don't make this Carolina Panthers football team, I have a backup plan. I could always go to the UFL and play for a year, get some good film, and then possibly make it back to the NFL. Or am I Jalen Coker and I'm saying, I feel the pressure, right? Like, dang, like UFL already drafted me. I don't want to go there. I want to make it to the NFL. I feel the pressure now. I have to perform, and now I'm freaking out, or I'm just nervous, or I'm over analyzing everything. Like, I wonder how I feel about that. I wonder how I would feel about that, because you know that's interesting that you can draft the rights, and then also as UFL teams, like, you're literally taking a chance on a guy that may not even, you know make it to you. They may make an NFL team, right? And so you're drafting the right to this person. Granted, it's fourth round, but you could have gotten a player who is going to actually be on your team when the season starts. Either way, I do like the idea that some people can have backup plans. Now, some people, like some of the people who got drafted, did not get undrafted free agent opportunities. And so I thought it was dope for the fact that they get a chance to play a game or play a season, put some film on tape, so that whenever the next season starts, they have an opportunity to make the NFL team. So Marcus Sims, I think he got picked up this week. He played in the UFL. He got picked up by the Seattle Seahawks, and he was in a UFL, right? He was in a UFL. He had some really good tape, and I don't think he got signed as an undrafted free agent. He got signed to the Seattle Seahawks. So I thought that was really dope that they can do that. And then also, yeah, like you're right, shout out to the Rock and his team. They know how to negotiate. Like, I think it's cool that they're giving players a second chance or plan B if it doesn't work out. So my hope is, out of those two, like, I don't know much about Popo. I got to look him up and see what's going on there. But I think it's dope that the fact that they have an opportunity to do that. But I'm rooting for Jalen Coker, man. We've talked about this before on the pod. I talked about this on Panther Nation podcast as well. Like, Jalen Coker is a dog. I think that he just went to a small school at Holy Cross. But I hope he makes a team, man. Like, he's a very solid route runner. I don't have to go into all his intangibles and tangibles, but I mean, he's a solid player, and so hopefully he does make it. I don't know if it's like I got to look it up and see if the UFL has a rule where there's like, hey, if you draft the rights to this person, they don't make you get an extra draft pick for next year. I don't know, and I got to look that up. But I thought it was interesting to see a lot of people. I mean, Sam Hartman, who was the quarterback at Notre Dame, who I think he got picked up as an undrafted free agent for the Washington Commanders. He got drafted. His draft rights, you know what I'm saying? His rights got drafted, which is very interesting. And so my hope is that I see all that to say. My hope is that these players take it as motivation of like, okay, yes, I have a backup plan, but at the end of the day, like I want to make this NFL team. I want to make this NFL money. And I'm going to push harder, even harder to make the team and make the league. But I thought it was interesting. I thought it was very interesting. And I was like, yeah, I gotta talk about that. And so maybe I may bring this back up when Shad and Vash are here because I'm very curious to see what they're gonna talk about. So last thing for y'all who don't know, training camp is getting ready to start. This is gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun for a lot of different reasons, right? So I'm gonna be out there a few times. Me and Shad, we're working on when we're gonna go out there together for some of the for some of the training camp dates. So we'll let you know when we do. Like I told you earlier, the rookies report tomorrow, and of course, then the vets all report on Monday. So training camp is among us. That means football is around the corner. So Liv, babe, if you're watching this, just get ready because Sundays you already know what's about to go down, right? So I'm excited. I hope y'all are. August 16th, which is going to be the last day, like after the joint practice. We got something special coming up for y'all. I'm going to keep on announcing it. We're going to get some flyers and everything, but we're going to do a live show. Yes, I said it. A live show with some special guests. So keep them posted. We'll let you all know exactly where it is, what's taking place. But it's going to be pregame and PNP, our first like joint live show together, along with Quick Blitz. So I'm excited. I can't wait. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're working on some content and all those different things. So stay on the lookout. We'll let you know exactly where, what's going on, and who will be there. But yeah, man, it's gonna be a lot of fun. So I just want to give y'all a quick heads up. Mark your calendars. August 16th is going down. That's going to be a Friday. We're probably going to do it maybe around 6 or 7. We're figuring out the time and everything, but first come, first serve, right? We're going to have tickets that go out. It's going to be on Eventbrite and everything. So we'll let you know when tickets go out for that particular live show. I hope to see y'all there. Take pictures with all of us and everything, and just vibe and have a good time, right? Vibe and have a good time is the biggest thing. So that is it for today. I hope y'all enjoyed this particular podcast. I haven't done a one by myself in a long time. You know what I'm saying? So it was fun to just interact with y'all and vibe. Like I said, we're gonna do either a starting lineup or a start bench cut. It depends. It really depends on the artist that we pick, right? Because some artists it's hard to do a start bench cut because they got so many hits. And sometimes I may not even do their hits. I may do their B-sides, right? I may do their B-sides where you're going to be like, whoa, like, I forgot about that song. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that we're going to get in that type of bag. And we're going to start doing that. We're going to do that throughout the summer, right? Throughout the summer, through the rest of the summer, we're going to do some of those. So if you have any ideas, if you have any artists or any songs or any albums or any shows, movies, any ideas that you have, like we are open to all ideas because this is a pod for the people and we want to do and talk about and argue and debate about what you all want to hear. So hit my line, whether it's Twitter, whether it's email. I talk about it all the time. Let me pull this up here. Whether it's email, whether it's our Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, whatever it may be, we're open in all those different things. Feel free to contact us. Let us know, and we'll definitely put you all in the list of things that we want to talk about. Right? See one right there. Favorite Jays. That's a tough one. That's a tough one, but we can do it, right? We can do a start bench cut on favorite Jays or starting lineup. Everyone, the fan favorite is starting lineup. So let us know. We'll be happy to talk about it. We'll be happy to discuss it. And also, if you have any just random questions that you want us to talk about live, right? So the difference between like live and an agenda, right? So usually what we do is like I give the agenda to Shad and Vasha what we want to talk about. It gives them time to marinate on the situation, to come up with their thoughts, and then they probably text each other on the side to figure out how they gonna jump me when it comes to the podcast because they love picking on the young boy, right? They love picking on me, but it's all fun, right? But if you want us to talk about something live, right? something where you're like, hey, I want your reaction right now. I want your thoughts right now. I don't want you to think about it. I want it on the fly. We may do something like that, where most of the show is like you are asking us questions and we are saying it live. We don't have time to think about it. It's going to be the initial thing that pops up in our head and we got to go with it, right? We don't have time to sit down and analyze different things. So we'll definitely get into it. Definitely, I don't think I'll lose these because they'll be in YouTube, but I love the comments that are coming up. Favorite Jays, top 5 QBs, top 5 receivers of all time, top 5 comedians. Like, I love the things that you're putting in there. And that's why I love this interaction with our audience. So continue to do that. Let us know, and we'll have some fun. So thank y'all for pulling up on me.
Pull up on me. Pull up on me.
All right, y'all. We out of here. Peace.